Hello there, my name is Jocelyn from Jocelyn Seamer Education. I have a teach along coming up, another one for the second half of Term 3 2020. It is called Text-Based Learning. See, a few years ago I was a teaching principal. I had a full teaching load and I had to do all the principal stuff in a small school. And I was concerned that my kids were missing out because I just didn't have the time to plan for grammar, sentences, text level, oral language, all of that. I just didn't have time to plan it all well. So I developed a system because I like things to be simple and sequential, and I like to be able to repeat them so that I can learn them well and reduce my cognitive load. So that's what I've done. I've made a system that I really want to share with you so that you too can teach your students in a way that you feel comfortable with and that really enhances their ability to do well. So the system that I've designed is applicable for foundation all the way to year 6, every grade of primary school. It's a low floor, high ceiling approach, which means that you can teach multi-age, multi-level English in a way that works for everyone. Now, I know that that sounds just way too good to be true. I can feel you rolling your eyes and going, oh, come on, Jocelyn, get off it. But I'm serious. What I've discovered is that if you provide lots and lots of oral language, that you then drill down into writing and you provide the structures for those students who need more support, everybody can participate in your English program. Let's have a look at what we're actually going to cover because I'm very excited to bring it to you. So let me share my screen. That's how we work on a teach along in Zoom. That's all very secure, I promise. And so we are going to go through all of these things. So we're going to look at how do you choose a text to teach from. There are lots of great stories that are wonderful to read before you go out for lunch for 5 minutes, but they might not necessarily be the best models for children to develop their oral language. We're going to look at how to choose the text, how to analyze it, how to build the field, because here's the thing, I love the explicit teaching model. And if you've read my blog, The No Nonsense Educator, or you've done a teach along with me, you'll know how much I love the explicit teaching model. It scaffolds learning for you and for your students. So we're going to work through this teach along, working through the explicit teaching model. That starts with building the field and tuning students into what they're going to be learning and what they need. This is particularly important for your students who have English as an additional language or dialect, or students who come from disadvantaged backgrounds because they're not going to have necessarily all that background knowledge and schema to bring to the party. They're not going to have the vocab you need them to. Oh, look, I'm waffling. I'm just going to stop and get on with it. You are going to learn about how to build background knowledge, vocab, and examine and work with the language of a text. We're going to look at how to model and deconstruct a whole text. We're going to look at that at sentence level, and we're also going to get into grammar. Now, I remember when just the mention of the word grammar absolutely scared the life out of me because I didn't learn it at school. I was lucky enough to do a linguistics unit at university that I had just chosen because I thought it was interesting. But no one had ever actually taught me how to teach it in the classroom. I've since then had the absolute privilege of working with some wonderful people who filled in that knowledge for me. But I do remember feeling scared of it, and I don't want you to feel scared. So what I've done is broken lots of different areas of grammar down, and I'm giving you lesson plans, but that's coming in a little sec. So we'll just keep looking here. We are also going to look at how to support students to write at text level. As teachers, we're pretty good at this one. But there's some steps that come before that that set kids up for success. And if you've ever taught the world's best unit on narrative, and then you still have those 4, 5, 6 children in your class who've done not more than give you a 3-sentence story and you don't understand why, this teach along is for you. If you've tried to interpret the English curriculum, the Australian curriculum, and I'm going to guess any other curriculum, you may have ended up feeling like this. It can be really overwhelming to know what you're supposed to teach and how you're supposed to teach it, and make sure you do it to a standard that is exactly what your students need for their grade level, but also gets them the A and the B that their parents are expecting. That's really hard. In this teach along, I'm going to break that down for you. Those subscription sites that we all love that do save us time, don't do that. Yes, they're aligned to the curriculum. Yeah, sort of, kinda. We're going to look at the scope and sequence. I'm going to show you how to use the scope and sequence to make sure that you are hitting the nail on the head every time for the students in your class. I'm going to show you how to make your teaching systematic, how to keep it simple. Nobody has time for complicated. I'm going to show you how to expand oral language. Now, we know that all literacy floats on a sea of oral language, but how to teach that and what that looks like in our classroom at different ages, that's a whole nother thing. I'm going to share some information with you, some tips and some advice. And then I'm going to show you how to get kids writing. It takes more than reading a story, you modeling how to write one on the board and getting them to have a go. It takes way more than that, and I want to show you how. Scarborough's reading rope is gold when it comes to breaking down reading instruction, and we know that we need to teach vocab, language structures, verbal reasoning and literacy knowledge. This teach along does that. It shows you how to make that explicit for children using really good quality literature as the jumping off point so that they've got something that they can hang their learning on. There's also this simple view of writing. We've so very often, as I said, jump into that text level teaching, and we're pretty good at it. But what we often don't do is start kids off at word level, build it up to sentence, teach them the skills at word and sentence level so they can put it together at text level. This teach along is going to show you how to do that. Do Talk Record is a great model, and it's often applied to our students who have English as an additional language or dialect, but it's actually applicable to everybody. So I'm going to show you in this teach along how to connect oral language with writing, how to build those oral skills so that kids have something to say. And I remember the day I was working with a young guy, he was about year 3 or 4, and he wrote a starting sentence, and I said, "Oh, good job, mate, well done. You know, you're on the way. What else could you say?" And he looked at me and he said, "I don't know." And he wasn't being lazy. He genuinely didn't know. So I realized I had to do way more oral work with him so that he actually had something to say. We're going to learn how to do that. Here is an example. Let me make my face a little smaller there. Here's an example of one of the planning documents I'm going to share with you. This document gives you that big picture view. If you are experienced in teaching all of the things that are under here, then you can say, right, good, I already know how to teach kids about questioning and character description and how to make connections and teach them about synonyms, and that's fantastic, and I'm really comfortable in that. What this document will give you is a way to structure that. So you're not sort of throwing hundreds and thousands at kids and saying, catch. There's a systematic, structured sequence of teaching that helps you feel more confident that you're hitting all the bases and gives kids the security of knowing what's coming next. But if you're not there, and look, it would be very few of us who said, yes, I am absolutely proficient at all of this, then what I'm also going to give you will be a tremendous help for every step of the way through this text-based approach to teaching. I'm going to give you a lesson plan. So in the planning document that I'm going to give you, it has where you can personalize this to the text you're teaching through and to your students. But then on the left-hand side, it has lesson structures, and it tells you what to do every step of the way. So you don't have to hold it all in your head with you feeling overloaded and overwhelmed. You can be confident that you just have to think about your bit and the rest of it's been done for you. And then as you grow in confidence, you don't need that anymore, and off you go. I really like this also because it gives an agreed upon set of structures and sequence to teach across classes and even across grades. You all don't have to do every unit yourself. This enables you to plan collaboratively, work together. One person saying, right, I'll teach the build, I'll write the build the field part and work it out. If you can do the character description and you can do the unpacking the text, then we put it all together and away we go. Or one person can say, this term, I'm going to write the whole unit and I'll share it with you. There's 4 of us. We only have to do that once a year. Then the units are available next year. Now, as a time poor teaching principal then, and a time poor assistant principal now, that makes a lot of sense to me. So this will enable you to do that. In a teach along, there are a few different components. One of them is the live Zoom sessions that we run. So it's just like this, exactly as you're seeing now, except you get to ask questions and participate in real time. But if you can't make it to a live session, please don't worry. They're all recorded and they're located on a website that you have lifetime access to. So every time you teach this, any part you're unsure of, you can go back and re-watch the session. You'll also find there all the documents. So again, lifetime access. You don't have to go, oh no, I can't find it on my hard drive, because it'll be there. All of those documents and those videos are housed in a particular website, as I've said, that you can just access and it's yours forevermore. There's also the third part, which is collaboration. And that's really important when we're learning, to be able to say, hey, everyone, I created something. I'm going to share it with you. Or to go to the group with a question you might be having. We don't all have the privilege and pleasure of having teachers working next to us who either maybe we don't have them at all because we're in a very small school, or maybe we're not quite on the same page. So having a tribe of people who you can connect with is really important. There's a Facebook page for those people who join in teach-alongs, but there's also a forum on the website where if you're not a Facebook sort of a person, you don't have to miss out. You can put your questions on there and connect. I'm really excited to bring you this teach along. It has made the biggest difference to my teaching and the teaching of those who I've supported, both through teach alongs and in real life. I don't want people to struggle. And teaching is a really, really hard job. Our brains get overloaded. I want you to be able to reclaim your life so that you are not spending every weekend planning and preparing. I love the simplicity of this and the fact that it can be applied from foundation all the way to year 6 to support your kiddies who need a little bit more help and your high flyers who need the extension. This allows you to do that. So if you're ready to book, you can do so right now. JocelynSeamerEducation.com. There is a link. There's also a link in this Facebook post. So click, sign up. It is $79 for 5 weeks of content that's going to absolutely transform the way that you teach oral language, grammar, sentences, writing. It really is that awesome. And oh, look, I'm just going to let you find out for yourself. So come along. I want to share this with you. I want to make your life easier. $79, JocelynSeamerEducation.com. Please ask me any questions that you have because I want you to be sure that it's for you. And I want to just be really clear. This is not, I have foundation year 1 students who are learning to transcribe sentences. That's a whole nother teach along. This one is about language and writing. And it could be recording through pictures and talking, but it's about text generation, starting with oral language founded in good, rich text. So if you're looking for something that's going to teach you how to teach the phonics, how to teach kids to write words, how to teach them to write sentences, you need a different teach along. And I do have that one. So pop over to my professional learning opportunities tab and you'll find it there. Thank you very much. Ask lots of questions. I wish you all the best for the weeks ahead, and I really hope that I see you on the teach along to come. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.